Hey friend, today I am going to be telling you the story of how I realized that I was accidentally holding myself back. And it is an epiphany really that I had on a team call. And wow, just a side note, this team call blew me away as many of our team trainings do. But I digress. It was one of those moments where I just got smacked right in the middle of the forehead. And I don't have those as much as I would like. I don't know if that's good or bad, but here we are. So I stopped listening to the team call and literally took my headphones out and just started writing. And this is a little bit of what came out, and I want to share that with you today. So this is the story of how I didn't realize that I was holding myself back. If you have listened to me on the podcast for any amount of time or met me in person, I am a driven person. There is no doubt about that. I may not always reach every single one of my goals the first time, but I am going to reach them. That is my vibe. That is my personality. Part of that is just who I am. Part of that is spending 23 years in the Army. Part of that is being forced to kind of grow up at a really young age and just really be responsible for myself. All of that kind of combines to make my personality. And there's a point to this, I swear. So I am going to, fast forward into my story about 16, 17 years into my Army service. And you might have heard this before, but I'm going to tell it again. I was miserable. Love the Army. Still love the Army even now that I'm out. But I was miserable because the idea of slaving away, just grinding at the pace that I was grinding was not sustainable. And I had sustained it for well over 15 years at that point, but it was taking its toll on me. And I didn't know how much left I had. And that was scary because I had put everything into that career. Everything. I had sacrificed relationships, family time, everything, literally everything, and the potential to make lots more money than I actually was making. Anywho, I was at a point where, although I loved what I did, it was taking its toll. So when the lady reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you like to sell this stuff that you're already buying?" I was like, no, I don't want to sell this stuff. I was buying these products on auto ship for 2 straight years, and it never had even crossed my mind to ask someone what they were making in that business opportunity. Like, it didn't even cross my mind because I hadn't come from a network marketing background. I wasn't a blogger. I wasn't an influencer. I didn't have an audience. The idea of making money online was so foreign to me, it didn't cross my mind. So she reaches out to me. She said, "Hey, I'd like to talk with you. Would you be interested in the business side? You seem to like the products. You've been buying them for 2 years straight. Would you be interested?" And I said, no, I don't have time for that. Now, how many times have you been told by your prospect that they don't have enough time? Right? "Oh, that sounds like fun, but I don't have time for that." That was me. No way on earth did I have time. I could barely cook for myself. I was outsourcing food making, everything at that point. I was outsourcing just to get myself a little bit more sleep. I wasn't getting sleep, et cetera, et cetera. So when she said, "Hey, do you want to do this?" I was like, no. Because in my head, I thought the idea of making $500 a month was not worth my time. Now, pause. Some of you listening are like, "I would be so excited to have an extra $500 a month." That was not my reality. Doesn't matter. I'm not judging your situation or my situation or anyone's situation. The situation that I was in was that I had money. I didn't need more money. I needed more time, right? So the idea of trading time for, in my head, what I thought was $500 was not appealing at all. It was just not worth my time. And then she said this to me. She said, "Have I told you my story?" I said, "No. This is just a lady I buy stuff from. We aren't friends. I don't know you. So no, you haven't told me your story." So she says, "Did you know that I used to be a Fortune 500, an executive vice president in a Fortune 500 company, and I was able to quit my job and stay home with my toddler just from this business?" And boom, I was like, "Wait, what?" Obviously, she's making more than $500 if she was able to walk away from an executive vice president salary and make more at home. I didn't know how much she was making. I didn't ask her how much she was making. But all of a sudden I was like, oh, so you mean you make a lot of money doing this? And honestly, it wasn't even the money. It was the idea that she could make money and spend time with her family, because that was my biggest pain point. That was my biggest pain point. That is the entire reason that I got into this industry. I didn't see my family. I had already... I mean, let's just be completely truthful. I've talked about this a couple times on this podcast, but I had gone through a divorce because I was never with my husband, because we were always deployed on other sides of the earth, literally never saw each other. In the 11 years that we were married, we didn't see each other for like 7 of them. So anyways, it was crazy. So I'd already gone through a divorce because I hadn't spent any time with my husband. I was never stationed close to my parents, my brother. I hadn't been home to California in, a million years. And so the idea of me, just the split second, she didn't even describe anything. She literally didn't even tell me how much she was making. She just said, I get to stay home and take care of my toddler, my girl. I was like, sold. What do I need to do? That was it. That was it. Okay. So why am I telling you this? So often in network marketing, we are told to tell people that it is reachable and simple to earn $500 a month. And here is the problem with that. If you are constantly talking about how you can earn $500 a month, you are falling on deaf ears to the people who are going to run through a brick wall for time freedom or the idea of time freedom. If you are constantly talking about the potential to earn $500, $600, $7 a month, there is no chance that I would have sacrificed the hours and the time and the sleep that I already didn't have to earn another $500 a month. But you tell me that I might be able to someday quit my career and stay home with a kid or my family or my dogs or whatever, I am in. I will lose sleep every day for the next 6 years, which is what I did, to make it happen. You see the difference? So the epiphany the other night when I was on this team call is one of our leaders said, you are not appealing to the people you want to appeal to if you are only talking about making $500 a month. Only. That's the key word. There are appropriate times, depending on who you're talking to talk about making $500 a month. I'm not poo-pooing that at all. But if you aren't also painting a big picture and vision casting about what's possible on a grand scale, then you are losing the ability to speak to the pain points of the people that are earning 6 figures in their profession and don't have time, to the people who don't see the value in sacrificing more time with their family, to the people who are satisfied, somewhat satisfied, or content with their careers. You will miss those people. And that, by some estimates, is perhaps even 70% of all Americans. Like everybody can use some more money, of course. But if I tell you that you have to work for it and you're only going to get $500 a month, all of a sudden, to a huge population, that doesn't sound worth it. To some people, that's totally worth it. So you've got to address both and know that you can't only talk about how simple it is and how you can earn $500 a month, et cetera, et cetera. Because guess what? Let's be honest. I mean, I literally took a couple designer pieces out of my closet the other day and sold them in a Facebook group, and I earned $480 the other day just by doing that. So if you tell me, and again, that's just me, some people are judging me right now, that's okay. If you tell a certain group of people that $500 a month is what you are envisioning them earning, you have lost them from the get-go. So you've got to talk about both. You have to talk about both. Now, I hear you. I hear you already. I can read your mind because there is someone listening to this saying, but I haven't been able to leave my career or earn time freedom or whatever vision that you want me to cast. That's not my vision. Yep, got it. This is where you use other people's stories. This is where you use my story. Feel free to use it. This is where you use your upline story. This is where you go to your convention and you take notes, and you go to those team calls and you take notes and you listen to the stories of the people that have already gotten there. And what you tell people is, look, I'm not there yet, but this is where I'm going. You can come with me or not. That's up to you, but this is where I'm going. And you say it with confidence because you believe it. If you don't believe it, then we got to work on vision casting and seeing yourself achieving those things. Now, if you're not in it, just as another side note, if you're not in it to get that, that's fine. If you're happy with $500, this is probably not the discussion for you. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably listening to this podcast because you want to be at the top of your comp plan. You want to earn more money than you're currently earning, and it's probably a little bit more than $500 a month. Again, $500 a month is great. Every single one of you, I would be happy to receive $500 a month from. Like, please send it my way. Not hating on the money. What I'm saying is people have big visions. And sometimes it takes a big vision to get you out of your comfort zone. And that's what I want you to practice talking about. It may be uncomfortable for you. It is not really that uncomfortable for me. I don't know, maybe it's my upbringing, maybe it's just my personality. I'm not quite sure. I don't mind talking about money, but I fully understand that there are a lot of people that it makes uncomfortable. You're going to have to get used to it if that's you. And you're going to have to decide to be a person that knows where they're going. Knows where they are going. Because as soon as you know where you're going and you look at somebody in the eye and you say, look, this is where I'm going. I'd love to have you with me. I'm going to love you either way if you don't want to be with me. But it would be so much fun to have you along with me, have you by my side to do this together. What do you say? Don't have a success story of your own. Share a vision of where you are going and then share other people's stories. I'll tell you my upline story, which she actually talked about on the same call that I had this epiphany. She was a VIP customer of our products for 4 months. 4 months. Said, I don't want to do the business. I'm too busy. I'm a photographer. I'm a mom of 3. I am a nurse. She had 10 things going, right? Same story, different details as mine. She didn't have time. And then you know what her upline said? Hey, have I told you what I'm making? Now, this was a friend of hers. That she wasn't doing this over social media or anything like that. This was a one-on-one conversation. You're allowed to tell your friends what you're making, right? Her friend pulled her aside and said, have I shared with you what my last paycheck was? And when she shared that number, which was a 5-figure paycheck per month, all of a sudden, that changes the game. Because then the person who's the nurse and the photographer and the mom of 3 says, oh, well, that would be enough money for me to walk away from nursing or walk away from whatever their pain point is, right? And the pain point for her was also not enough time. Not enough time. Same exact story. And I promise that so many of the people that you talk to, their pain point is time. Their pain point is time. Now, of course, there's a lot of people who are like, I don't like network marketing and I don't like the products. Okay, fine. Got it. Not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who don't see themselves doing what you do because they don't have the time. You will make the time for the thing you think is important. And I guarantee you, for most people, being able to earn a 5-figure paycheck per month from home, oh, all of a sudden, I found some time. Go figure. Maybe that rerun of Housewives isn't that exciting. Or maybe I'd be willing to learn how to make some reels for a 5-figure paycheck. Maybe I would be okay with doing a Facebook Live, even though I hate doing them and I'm terrified of them, for a 5-figure a month paycheck. All of a sudden, my calendar opens wide up and I'm willing to skip the girls' night and I'm willing to skip the whatever, going out to the bar, whatever it is. I don't know. Fill in your blank of the things that you do. I was wasting a lot of time, just trying to decompress, which was definitely needed. But at that time, I was willing to trade that for the opportunity to earn income in the future and earn a life-changing income. So my point in all of this, I think I've kind of beat this to death, is talk to the people who don't have enough time by telling them what's possible and painting a big vision. The idea of making $500 is not going to appeal to many professionals. And don't tell me that there aren't doctors, lawyers, executives, etc. in network marketing, because they're all over the place. They're all over the place. Hell, even my hairdresser makes multiple six figures. I mean, people make money. There is money in the world. There is so much money in the world. I'm not saying everyone's rich. I'm saying there's lots of money in the world. So the question is, don't assume that your prospects are willing to make a lifestyle change for $500 a month, because many of them are not. So I hope that that gives you just a little bit of either a reminder of something you already knew or just a smack across the face. Don't hold yourself back. Be bold. Make sure that you aren't doing anything wrong. We don't make improper income claims, et cetera, et cetera. But you can certainly tell a story about what it's done for your life, or what it's done for my life, or what it's done for your upline's life, or take any of my stories that I shared with you today. Feel free to use those. Those are stories. Those are the things that get people talking. You don't have to give a million details. The people who get it will get it. They will all of a sudden understand, and they will go from absolutely a no to a, maybe you do need to send me that video, and maybe I do need to take a look at that comp plan and tell me how this works and where do I sign up, because really, I can do this for $100 and whatever dollars? Okay, yeah, sure, why not? Let's try this. And all of a sudden, you have yourself a runner, not a dabbler, right? I see it all the time because people are like, how do I get my business builders to actually work? You recruit the people that are motivated. You can't make people motivated. You can cast a vision for them, but you can't force them to run. Nobody will ever force me to run because I have all the motivation I want inside of me. So your goal is to share these visions, share your story, share where you're going with enough people that the people who are looking for your solution hear you and they're willing to run with you. Okay, I hope that helped you so much. If this is helpful for you, I would absolutely appreciate it if you shared this. Share it with your team, share it to your Instagram stories, tag me wherever you see fit. Also, if you go to the show notes, just click below, and you are looking for basically some help to tell your story on social media. This is the number one thing that people ask me about all the time. How do I make myself stand out on social media? How do I be authentic on social media? How do I get people interested in what I'm saying on social media? It's all about storytelling. It's all about storytelling. And so if you need help with that storytelling, go to the link that's in the show notes. I have a PDF. It is 16 fill-in-the-blank captions that you can use on Instagram. You can use them as the outline for TikToks. You can use them as the outline for Facebook posts, wherever you want to use them, emails. I don't really care, but they will help you craft your story about who you are, why you're in business, and speak to some of the things that we were talking about on this podcast. So I really, really hope that this helped. So glad that you're here with me, and I'll be back soon with another episode. Bye.